the world, Archie Moore!
I'm Archie Moore. I am a fighter. This is the toughest fight of them all. I'm fighting for the rights of young people. When young people get into trouble, some people call it juvenile delinquency. I think this is wrong. A youth's attitude basically comes from his home. He thinks and acts the way his parents and friends think and act. But things today are changing in the United States, and today, young people need to think for themselves. There are more opportunities today. I believe that any boy can become anything he really wants to become. My fight now is to give boys a better chance for a better life by showing them that they can change their lives. I call my program ABC, which, in English, are the first letters of Any Boy Can. When I was a little boy, I got into trouble. The reason for me getting into trouble was running around with older boys who wanted to be toughs. I really didn't want to be a tough guy. But in my neighborhood, the tough guys all wore nice clothes. I wanted nice clothes. Money too. The tough guys showed me how to make money for them by stealing things. If I didn't do it, then they would beat me up. Now, when you start stealing little things, pretty soon you start stealing bigger things. Then you always get into trouble and get sent to jail. I realized I wasn't thinking for myself. I was letting other guys do my thinking for me. So I decided to stop running and start fighting. I became a boxer and made a new life for myself. Many people helped me along the way to build a better life. I figured if I could do it, any boy could do it, with some help. And so I thought that someday I should help boys stay out of trouble. I guess that was when I first had the idea for ABC. But that was a long time ago. It was after I retired from boxing that ABC really started. The opportunity came when I got a call from Mr. Ed Rivers, a real estate broker. Mr. Rivers had 350 houses he was trying to sell, and he wanted me to help him sell them. But his houses looked awful bad. Most of them had the windows broken out, and some even had the doors knocked off. I asked Mr. Rivers, "Why are your houses in such a shambles?" And he said, "Well, you know, Archie, young children commit vandalism. They break the windows out as fast as we can put them in." I said, "This is nothing. I can stop that." Mr. Rivers said, "How can you stop it?" "With ABC," I said. "ABC? What is ABC?" And I explained, "A youth motivating club, and it teaches young boys to think for themselves and not get into trouble." And I told him all I needed was some equipment to start working with. "As a matter of fact," I said, "you can put it right in my backyard." And so this is where ABC was actually started. Soon I saw this little shadow of a boy. He walked right up and said, "You're Archie Moore the fighter, ain't you?" Well, he was a real tough-looking cookie.
that cat they call Archie Moore.
But I knew if I could get him on my side, I could get to a lot of the support from the rest of the boys. And he wanted to hit the bank. I said, just a minute, young man. I know you can hit it. But if you want to learn how to hit it right, go get all your friends and I'll show you how to fight and hit the bank just right.
You want to teach us how to fight?
Yeah.
All right, I see you, Archie.
Pretty soon, they all came back. Then we began to sound each other out. Then I began to tell them what I expected of them. I told them that they must learn how to organize themselves, to discipline themselves, and then we could act as a body. I told them they would have to address me as their instructor more, and I would call them students. I told the students if they wanted to belong to ABC, they would have to learn the ritual first. This was a must because it gave the boys a personal identity. I told them, raise your hands if you're going to stay with me. Well, most of them stayed. I don't want to give the impression that all these boys would have been lost if I hadn't decided to work with them. There are a number of government and private organizations doing a lot to help youth in the United States today. But more than ever, I believe that nothing beats personal identity and personal commitment when someone else needs help in reaching a worthwhile goal. We had our trying moments at the beginning. We didn't have much money. But the main thing we had discipline. We had a plan. We had a concept. Position! Then you're clean.
Inside and outside at all times.
The idea of ABC is to teach boys moral values, spiritual values, and physical self-defense values. Now, moral values guarantee that the young person will know right from wrong. Spiritual values teaches his conscience that he should not do wrong. And self-defense values will surely protect him if somebody tries to fight him, or bully him, or try to make him steal. The concept is learned by repetition. 8 weeks of repetition.
Adjust your thinking caps. And we're going to think of what a good student in the ABC would not do. Would not do. As before command.
Lie.
Lie.
Cheat.
Cheat.
Steal.
Steal.
Smoke.
Smoke.
Drink.
Drink.
Gamble.
Gamble.
Refuse to go to church.
Refuse to go to church.
Refuse to go to school.
Refuse to go to school.
Commit vandalism.
Commit vandalism.
Break in empty houses.
Break into empty houses.
Take heroin.
Take heroin.
Be in riots.
Be in riots.
Follow riots.
Follow riots.
Rob the bank.
Rob banks.
That's perfect.
Every youngster has a potential that he knows very little about.
We get to play kickball.
One example is little Joe Johnson. When Joe came to us, he was very frightened, too scared to even say anything. But I noticed that little Joe had courage, and he was so eager to learn. I visited the school in the neighborhood several times, and the teachers tell me that the boys in ABC were improving in school.
As you were. We are a brand new concept in teaching. And what is this concept? A, B, and C concepts are moral, spiritual, and physical self-sufficiency on people.
And then people began to notice the change in the attitude. They quit street fighting, they quit stealing, they stopped breaking windows. Within 3 months' time, the vandalism damage to Mr. Rivers' houses went from $7,000 to $70 a month. We knew we had a good thing going. Soon, the best students became instructors. And now I hope to set up ABC clubs in other parts of the country.
Cars.
Tear scriptures out of the Bible.
Tear scriptures out of the Bibles.
Beat up on old people.
Beat up old people.
Shoot BBs at your father.
Shoot BBs at your father. Very well, good students. Adjust your thinking cap once more. And this time we'll think of what a good student would do, what he could do, should do, or would at least try to do in order to become that better student in school and that better American. As before command.
Go to church.
Go to church.
Be a good American.
Be a good American.
Now, Ray Smith is another ABC boy. He has always shown great leadership potential, even when he was doing wrong things. He was the secretary of a gang called the Nigger Angels. Ray and his gang used to break bottles and windows, steal things, and do all sorts of bad things. I got hold of Ray, and I told him I wanted him to use his power of leadership to do something good. And Ray listened. Ray never gives anybody any trouble anymore. And his two brothers are following right along in his footsteps.
Now adjust your thinking caps again, and let us find out what a good student would do.
Be a lawyer.
Be a lawyer.
Be a doctor.
Doctor.
Preacher.
Preacher.
Teacher.
Teacher.
Evangelist.
Evangelist.
Electrician.
Electrician.
Lab technician.
Lab technician.
Tax advisor.
Tax advisor.
Owner of a bank.
Owner of bank.
Surfer. Skier. Prize fighter.
Close your mouth.
This is Mike, Michael Randall. Mike is now 13 years old. He's always been a scrappy little competitor. He's an excellent swimmer, an excellent football player, and he is quite a boxer now because I've been teaching him for 2 years. So far, Mike has had 8 fights, and he's won 6 of them by knockout. Well, I don't predict that he'll be the champion of the world. Neither do I predict he'll become a boxer. But I do know that nobody will try to bully Mike. Since everybody knows that Mike can fight, they leave him alone. Mike can think for himself.
Good jab. Out, out. Nothing but jab, nothing but jab. Nothing but jab. Double up. Be first. Good. Again, double up. Pop him. Come on, shoot it in. Use your jab, please. Out. 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 Come on, shoot it. Time. Assemblyman.
Astronaut.
Astronaut.
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Vice president.
Vice president.
President.
And the president. Well, you can't get much higher than that.
The concept of ABC is a ritual, a litany. Some people may call it brainwashing. I do not mind this. I don't mind washing their brains with better thoughts, cleaner life goals, and self-respect. We teach that he can make it on his own, that he has a chance for success, as good a chance as anybody in the United States. You see, I don't believe in black power. I don't believe in white power. I do believe in boy power. The ABC program is not the only program in America that believes in youth power. We have the Job Corps, Youth Corps, and Boys Club, and the Boy Scouts too. In fact, many ABC boys go on to become Boy Scouts. ABC just helps them make their first step forward.
It is the correct way. In order to strike again, like a cobra, or an automatic.
Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out. 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 As you were. How does a good student walk away from trouble?
Without cowardice, but with courage and dignity.
Class dismissed.
ABC isn't all work. It's fun, too. After the boys have learned their lessons, they get to have fun. We do things together. We go places, we have parties. We call these things functions.
That's what ABC is. The first step. The first step up to a better life. This is my toughest fight. This is everybody's fight. Let no man feel that this is not his fight. Black, white, red, yellow, brown, rich, poor, large, small. Every man is involved in this fight to see that boy gets a helping hand. ABC, any boy can.